Hendy is him. Hendy is him. 1 carry, 18 yards, 3 receptions, 12 yards, 1 touchdown return to kick it all off. We told you that Henderson was going to the moon. Triple H, an associate monster that he is.
Jam. Call HHH and Associates.
Triple H and Associates. Locations on Earth and Jupiter.
This kid might actually be a top 5 running back this year. He looks phenomenal. He looks so quick. He looks like a weapon. And as I've tried to tell people over and over all offseason, as we've tried to tell people, this is a community thing. That this kid who's never fumbled the football before. Look at this in college, 24, 23, 2022, 2021. Never fumbled it. Never fumbled the ball. Led the nation last year in 7.1 yards per carry type of totage. And we got people running their mouth about how he's a part-time guy, can't run between the tackles. He's not very big. He's 208 pounds. He looks about 215 right now. 5'10", 210, 215, running like a monster, first in the nation in yards per carry. He looks quick. He looks agile. He's ripping off big plays, and he's a weapon. He is a weapon. And Drake Maye looks fantastic. Look, they're going up against backups. We're not going to sit here and try and pump up that the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. But this is a team. This is a team, and Hendy's going to the moon. You're either on board or you're not. The train's actually closed. No one else is allowed on. The fantasy football show begins now.
Live from the fantasyfootballshow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, Shadur, 8 of 15, 63 and a touchdown. Looks fantastic. 3 carries for 20 yards. People tried to give up on him after the first drive. Look, this Shadur Sanders thing should be evidence that all the Genty overreactions, if you would have walked away from drive 1 of Shadur and he ended up 4th down, ran backwards, ended up throwing the ball away, turnover on downs, and everybody closed the book, and he didn't come out and throw a touchdown strike, you'd be saying Shadur's trash, he's washed, you're wrong about Shadur. What does Shadur do? He bounces back. Genty gets 3 carries, 1 of which without his starting quarterback, without all the starting unit on the field, and people freak out. This guy with Drake Maye goes to the moon already. First touch is a return for a touchdown. Hadn't even played running back yet, and he scores a touchdown return looking speedy. They gave him a carry where there was a penalty, where the guy ripped off. It was like a 15-yard run where no one could even touch him. He's so quick and agile. This is a weapon. This is a dangerous weapon that if he gets the ball 15 times a game, 8 to 12 totes, well, call it even 18 times, 4 to 6 receptions, he's getting you well over 100 yards. He clears 100 yards in his sleep. And this is the kind of player that can rush for 990 on the year. He might not have 1,000 yards. He might have 1,200. You don't really know how they're going to use him. He is a between-the-tackle runner. And Ramondre looks pretty good right now. Again, this is backups. This is preseason. You got to read through the lines. But Ramondre looks pretty good. Ramondre looks like a guy you want to cuff, maybe, to Hendy, more so than I even thought would be the case, just because he does look kind of like fresh and rejuvenated. And they're going to need Ramondre. Did I say Monty? They're going to need Ramondre. Ramondre is going to need to carry the ball 150 times this year, maybe 200. Maybe 180. That's a lot of times. That's a player that could definitely, in 2 to 3 game stretch, if he's starting by himself, he could definitely be a good player. They're going to need someone. This is the Monty of this environment. This is the Monty. Monty and Gibbs, Hendy, Ramondre. Now, I'm not saying Ramondre will be as productive as Monty has been. I don't know that Monty will be this year. I'm not suggesting that, but we need that complement to keep Hendy doing efficient things. Keep in mind that Achane was at his absolute best when there was a top 10 running back in the lineup with him, when Mostert was popping off, scoring 20 touchdowns on a year. That's what we don't need 20 touchdowns out of Ramondre, but we need somebody keeping the defense honest and taking care of a lot of the grunt work that it's going to be a typical 2 to 3 yard carry anyway. We don't want Hendy getting pounded up the gut. We want Hendy on the outside. We want Hendy popping runs off to the outside. We want Hendy on sweeps. We want Hendy on catches in the plane, just taking things house call. How many house calls will Hendy have? Kind of feel like he's going to have 3 to 4 receiving touchdowns that will be long house calls. I think he'll probably have 3 or 4 breakaway house call touchdowns. Let's call that 6 total and give him 4 or give him. So it's 6 total there, 3 and 3. Those are house calls. Those are big 40, 30, 50 plus yard plays. 3 receiving, 3 rushing. I think we'll probably get, so that's 6. We probably get at least 6 more on the ground, 5 to 6 more on the ground. This is a 12 touchdown floor for Trey Henderson. This is Hendy getting 12 touchdowns on the ground, or I'm sorry, 12 touchdowns total floor. I'd say 6 to 10 on the ground, 4 to 6 receiving. Those are the ranges, I think. And then you're probably looking at 900 to 1,100 rushing, 500 to 700 receiving. You heard me. You heard me. You're looking at maybe 70 to 80 receptions as a rookie. You heard me again. I'm not stuttering. I'm not equivocating. I'm not out of my mind. I'm a man that's watching a player that we predicted to play like he's playing right this very second, and he's doing it.
Let him cook.
He's doing it live. Now, we're going to get some haters in here. Probably not a lot. They're going to be hiding in the shadows for the most part. There'll be some person that comes in here. I'm sure they're already in the chat. Be like, it's preseason. It's preseason, Smitty. The preseason argument is a valid argument when you're trying to draw conclusions that aren't there. The preseason argument is still valid when you're finding, and you could say this is self-confirming bias. You can look at it however you want. But when we know a thing to be true and we see evidence of that thing being true, it is something that you can absolutely say, confirmation bias or not, doesn't make it wrong. It's evidence as to what we've been saying. Now, Genty getting 3 carries without his full offense on the field and then judging him and you saying, oh, you can get excited about Hendy doing this, but not Genty getting 3 carries for -1 yard. Yes, I can. I can make those determinations. I did, I do, and I will continue to. That's why I do what I do. And that's why we cook here on the channel.
Let him cook.
This guy looks phenomenal. Hendy is him. And he might be a top 5 running back this year as a rookie. He's just so utilized. Such a phenom, such a speedster, such a marvel. I think you're too low on Ted McMillan. I don't think I'm too low on Ted McMillan. I tell you every time I talk about him that he could be T. Higgins. If all goes well, he'll be T. Higgins. How is that too low on Ted McMillan? That's a guy getting drafted in the 30 overall territory, Panthers. Just because I'm not saying he's a top 10 player, he looked good today too. He has 2 catches for 43 yards. He looks fantastic. There's no Ted McMillan hate. I don't know if you're trying to paint that, but that's not the case. I like Ted McMillan. Ted McMillan is a good player that should go in round 5, not round 3. Anything I've ever said negative about Ted McMillan at all has been about 3rd round value. You can't count on that from a rookie player like Ted McMillan. You can count on 5, 6. He can win you a league in 6. What more do you want me to say? That if he wins you a league in 6, it's not good enough for you? Breaking news, Raiders have a QB battle underway. Look, that was hilarious last night. We're not even messing around with that nonsense. Thank you for the super chat. That is funny though. But yeah, we're not gonna waste any time talking to a Genty hater. There's no room for that tonight. We got bigger fish to fry. We got Tre Henderson celebrations done. Tre Henderson celebrations in order. Yeah, buddy. Tre Henderson celebrations are what we're about tonight. Tonight.
Jam. Call HHH and Associates.
Tonight.
Triple H and Associates. Locations on Earth and Jupiter.
Tonight we do it live. What's your exact Super Bowl prediction this year? Right now, the New England Patriots. No. Right now, I'd say Washington versus. I haven't settled. I think Washington's going to be my NFC choice. I haven't decided on who the AFC contender is going to be, or I know the contenders are going to be, but who the choice is going to be. Last time we talked about it, it was Washington, and it was between Buffalo, KC, the Bengals, and the Broncos. One of those four teams will be my AFC lock-in, and my other is going to be Washington. I've nailed this 2 years in a row. I've nailed it 2 years in a row on the live stream. I've predicted the Super Bowl, both Super Bowl teams, and then what we do is I put $20 down on, and this pays about $1,200. $20 pays $1,200 if you pick the exact Super Bowl contest and then pick the winner. So you're picking the two teams that face each other and the winner. $20 will pay roughly $1,200 in Vegas. And so I'm 2 years in a row, 2 for 2. So if anybody's laughing at anything I say here, Denver, Smitty, or Washington over the Eagles, I've nailed it 2 years in a row. I picked the Eagles last year. So 2 years in a row, let's make it a third. Right now, I'm leaning toward Washington, reserve the right to change my mind. We lock it in about September 1-ish, right before the season, I'm locking it in. Right now, it's Washington versus one of the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bengals, or the Broncos. So I'll let you know which I choose, but I'm not locking that in right now. I'm waiting just a little bit of time, my boy. Just a little bit of time. I think he'll be better than T. Higgins, in my opinion. He could be. I'm not saying he won't be, but I'm saying that when someone says I'm not high on Ted McMillan, when every single time I speak about him and I have to say something about his third round ADP, which is now in 5, by the way, which is fantastic. And we draft Ted in 5 and 6. Ted in 5 and 6 can win a league. Ted in 6-7 on ESPN absolutely can win a league. Ted McMillan at 3 is a tall order that you shouldn't be going down that road. That's the only thing I've ever said negative on Ted McMillan in terms of ADP. Now, he's still got a lot to learn, but what did I say? He could learn those things. Just because he got manhandled in college at the line of scrimmage a lot doesn't mean he's not going to learn that at the pro level. Was I happy that he didn't watch film? No, but this is still a young kid that can learn and blossom and groom and absorb and get the right coach, and then all of a sudden it changes. Look, he's in the right spot. He's in the right spot. Bryce Young looked fantastic tonight. Bryce Young's a player we, to be fair and honest, said would be better than Stroud, and I was wrong. I was licking my wounds after the rookie season of Bryce Young versus Stroud because I looked like I shit the bed. But right now I'm looking like maybe I did it. Maybe I changed the sheets and I didn't need to. Maybe Bryce Young is better than Stroud. It's looking that way right now. Not fair to send Stroud on a lap just yet. He's got a lot to prove. Yeah, I think Sanders looks great. Shadur looks great. People were dogging on Shadur just like people are dogging on Genty. The only difference between Genty and Shadur is Shadur got a second drive, or a second go at it, really. 3 carries is in 2 drives for Genty, but 3 carries. Shadur got a second chance, and he looks great, and he's looking fantastic. Let's have an open phone line discussion about Tre Henderson, about Harvey, about Triple H and Associates. Does Hendy climb above Hampton?
Jam. Call HHH and Associates.
Triple H and Associates. Locations on Earth and Jupiter.
Is it possible that we have maybe a running back jostling around of sorts where all of a sudden Hendy climbs to 3? I hope not. I hope this just feels like a preseason game to people. I hope that a lot of people aren't even watching or even seeking out what had happened in this game. I don't know how it's going to go. Shadur just threw another touchdown, I heard. Let's see. I'm live, so I can't. Yeah, he threw another touchdown strike. This time it went to Caden Davis again. Davis catching his second touchdown. His second tutty. Looks like 2 people are best friends. Looks like there's two best friends that anybody could have, and that is one of Shadur and Davis. Davis and Shadur. These are bunk bed mates. They pushed the bunk beds together today. Davis and Shadur. They said bunk beds it is. Bunk beds it is.
Mashed potatoes! Yeah, buddy.
All you Shadur haters out there. All you Shadur haters out there that started hating on him in this very game. You started hating on him in this very game. After his first drive, hating all over the kid. And what does he do? Bounces back. Bounces back mid-game. 2 touchdown strikes. And might I say a dot. The first one was a dot. I haven't seen the second one yet, but the first one was a dot. Let me see if I can find. And second of all, if anybody wants to see the video footage of Trey Henderson, it's on my Instagram of him returning that kick for a touchdown. But let me see if I can find it and put it up on my phone real quickly and just kind of show you what a house call looks like. This is Trey Henderson running a house call, doing it live, taking it to the house. He said, "Mama, I'm coming home. Get the meatloaf ready. I'm taking it all the way home, baby. Do it
Let
live."
him cook.
He looks phenomenal. He looks phenomenal. Shadur looking as good as he could look. Honestly, he looks fantastic right now. That dot that Shadur threw earlier was fantastic. By the way, if I was to show you guys a little bit of Trey Henderson's receiving abilities as well, it would look a little something like this. It would look a little something like this. There goes Trey Henderson receiving the ball like a monster. Just doing it live. That's all he does. That's all he does is do it live. Here's another play of Trey Henderson right now catching, or this is that one penalty call, I think, where he's running right here. Look how quick he looks. Someone barely wrapped him up. Trey Henderson's taking everybody to the promised land, and it's happening on our dime. It's happening on our dime.
Mashed potatoes! Yeah, buddy.
It's happening on our dime.
In a jam, call HHH and Associates.
Triple H and Associates. Locations on Earth and Jupiter.
Phone lines are open. Dial in, ladies and gentlemen.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Couldn't be more excited about this situation. I'll tell you that right now. I couldn't be more proud of our Triple H and Associates. I couldn't be more proud of the players we're touting and toting on this channel. And I'm sitting here looking also, and I got Travis on the line, and I'm sure he's really ultra excited. But he's a very, very optimistic, but very, very tamed and realistic person. So given that Travis is, let me merge these calls in real quickly. Let me just get these all lined up. Mute yourself real quickly, my man. Just Travis is a very, very, open-minded, even-keeled person. But even he's probably just busting at the seams right now. Even though it's just, backups, this is preseason. Maye's scrambling ability, just his ability to decide when to tuck and run, getting weapons finally. That's been the downside to Drake Maye, is he's sitting there by himself. He's there by himself on an island last year and still doing well. It kind of reminds me of Fields, so many years in Chicago with nothing, and yet he's still doing stuff. Drake Maye was handed maybe the best receiver on his team in Trey Henderson, handed maybe the best pass blocker in the league right now, pass pro running back in the league right now in Trey Henderson. His pass blocking is unbelievable. He's the number one running back protector in the realm in the National Football League. He will be that. And he's also one of the most dangerous, if not immediately top 3 dangerous weapons in the league for a team to unleash on any defense. Through the air, on the ground, on the outside. He can do it up the gut. In the return game, this is maybe the greatest weapon in the league a year from now. Like Gibbs, this is Gibbs. And if anybody says, oh, don't call Henderson Gibbs, I can do whatever the hell I want because we called Gibbs on this channel. We conducted and created. We built the Gibbs train and then conducted it. We didn't buy it on sale, refurbish. We built the Gibbs train from the ground up and then we conducted it. So if anybody can say anything about the next Gibbs, it's me. It's this channel. It's you. It's our community because we built that train. Travis, you're on the phone. Probably excited. I mean, tamed, even keeled, but excited. Tell me what you're thinking now about not just Drake Maye, but
obviously fired up about Travion. I mean, it's what I expected, what I think you expected out of him, but to see it's always awesome. In terms of the team, I think they're still a year away from being like true competitive. But I don't know where she said it, but Aaron had a good point on Maye. Is he looks confident?
Yeah.
Compared to last year where there was his head was spinning at sometimes and there was nothing around him. So understandably, but he seems much more decisive about what he wants to do. And granted, it's preseason, so like you said, you have to be aim and take it with a grain of salt. But I mean, as a Patriots fan, I'm obviously happy.
Yeah,
there's such a different feel from Gerard Mayo and the roster, and even down to the kicker. They finally figured out they need to have a kicker that can hit a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah,
they've just been rolling.
And expectation-wise, you've got the Bills winning the division. No one's delusional in thinking. I mean, is it impossible for something crazy? No, but the Bills are probably winning the division. The Chiefs or Broncos will win the West. The Bengals or Ravens win that division. The Jaguars, in my opinion, probably win. I think the Titans will surprise some people. The Colts are trash. The Texans, I think, are going to be trash this year. I think they'll have games and moments, but the offensive line, the defense, you got arrests going on, injuries everywhere. Offensive line's in shambles. Like this is a bad season for the Texans. I think the Jaguars win this division, but whatever team you think wins this, there's nobody in this other three. No matter what you pick, if you pick the Texans, fine. There's probably no one in here that's competing for a wild card unless somehow the Texans are amazing, which they won't be, and the Jaguars are still very good. Then maybe they're a wild card contender. But we'll just say the Jaguars win the division, and there's no wild card contender here. You still, even if let's just say the Bengals, the Chiefs, and the Buffalo Bills, regardless of your pecking order of the Ravens and Broncos, the Ravens and Broncos are probably the two teams that are grabbing wild card spots, like almost definitely. So you have one spot left after the 4 division winners and the 2 wild card spots. One spot. You've got the Jets, the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Steelers, the Chargers. The Raiders will still be in the mix. The Titans, like I said, might surprise. There's a lot of teams here to fend for one spot. So Travis is right. While we're getting pumped up and ready, this is, as I said all offseason, this feels like the Detroit Lions warning shot season, where I came out and said, first of all, predicted the Bengals to win the division and be a Super Bowl contender the year they drafted Jamar Chase, when everyone said they were the trashiest organization. They would never be good. I had Hugh Jackson, the former Browns coach, come on, and I said that this team would win the division, and he sat back in his chair, and he's like, the Bengals win that division? I was right. He was wrong. We smashed the hell out of that call. Bengals to the moon, predicted it. But what I said was the Detroit Lions have the same blueprint. They found the blueprint that the Bengals had, but they were going to take a year to implement it, and they did. They had a warning shot season to everybody. The Lions didn't, blow up that year, but they started to show signs of it. The Patriots are in the same boat. They got the blueprint that the Bengals had, or the Lions had, and they're going to take a season, like Travis just said. They're not going to be, it wouldn't be crazy if they over-delivered and got that third wild card spot, but it's very unlikely. So it's 2026, but make no mistake about it. This team will look like a much different team in 2026 than it even does in 2025. And it's going to look like night and day difference in 2025 versus 2024. Henderson's going to the mother freaking moon. And he's such when you're sitting there going, okay, Smitty always says draft the player on the better team if push comes to shove. this is not one of those scenarios where you're weighing out the Patriots as a downer part of the Henderson evaluation process. Henderson is situation proof. He is matchup proof. He can be executed and deployed as a receiver or as a running back, so game script can't hold him back. Drake Maye's legs and ability to scramble as one of the best scrambling quarterbacks in the league. Drake Maye will prove to be a top 5 scrambling quarterback in this league, and he'll start to show it this year. He already kind of has, but that alone makes it impossible to contain Henderson. You just can't double him. You can't worry about him. You can try and cover him, but you're not going to be able to contain him. And Drake Maye and Hendy are the perfect marriage because of that scrambling ability and keeping defenses honest. Henderson should always be looked at as he's in a potent offense, given his versatility and given he's matchup proof. So push comes to shove, you do not make a decision to go away from Hendy because somebody's in a better offense. This is a unique situation. All right, go ahead, Travis, then over to BBQ.
Yeah, I mean, just with Hendy, I think I saw someone talking about Ramondre, and last week there was someone saying, you know, Hendy won't even get 10 touches or 10 carries, you know, a week or whatever. Like, he's going to get, you know, 15 to 25 touches a week, depending on, you know, how the game script goes. Like, right off the bat, I've been saying this for a while. Like, this is a new regime, new coaches. They have no loyalty to Ramondre, but Hendy's just better than Ramondre, and they're playing to win right away. So why would they hold Hendy back? You hold guys back if they can't pass protect or if they're missing something, and Hendy isn't missing it. He's ready to go.
Yeah, his pass protecting abilities will make him so you can't even measure the value that he brings to the table and how important he is to Drake Maye and keeping him upright. And because Drake Maye's the future, that is priority number 1. Hence by the first round draft selection. Hence why you guys took a offensive lineman, and it didn't feel great because you're like, oh, we could get Genty. Look at this. Look at this. And we said that. We said, you know, at first it was like, I remember Travis was even mad at the first pick. Not because he didn't like the selection, but it's because you had the offensive weaponry there. There's other linemen that you can take in round 2. There's this. I mean, look what the Chiefs did with Simmons in the last.
I was going to say I would have traded back and taken Simmons and got another pick.
But the fact that as soon as they drafted Hendy, we came back around. We said, okay, no, wait a minute. Hendy and taking early offensive line is probably equal to taking Genty and a late offensive lineman. This is a marvelous team, and then Kyle Williams. We'll see how he develops. Fantastic, man. I'm so excited. So excited. Let me go to BBQ real quickly. BBQ, you're live. What can I do for you, pal?
Hey, man, I tell you what, after listening to the first graduate from Hot Pocket University last night, I just wanted to weigh in on this. There's a lot of good stuff going on right now. One thing about Genty that I think a lot of people are missing, it wasn't just the 3 plays, you know, it was actually the other plays where you saw him get out in the route, and you could see these guys move differently. Genty moves differently. This elite talent like Henderson, they move differently. These guys are special. Bajan, they all move differently, and that's what you're not. People aren't taking the advantage of. These guys can take any ball at any time to the house. They're special, and they get to the second level, they make guys miss, and that's what you're seeing with Henderson. That's what you're going to see with Genty. I mean, these guys are elite talent. I mean, they didn't just forget how to play football overnight. I mean, and the other thing is, anytime you start a new program, a new team or something, it's like if you start your workout and you haven't worked out in forever, it's going to take you time to get going. Preseason is just like vanilla offense. Yeah. I mean, you don't expect anything. Wait till they actually start playing for real.
And when it does they end up doing something like in Hendy's case, and somebody comes in, and I saw it, I forget who said it, but right in the beginning, they're like, oh, you guys are going to say, don't worry about 3 carries for -1 yard for Genty, but you're going to come in and get excited about Hendy. Which one is it? Like, the thing is, do you not know how to chew gum and walk at the same time? Do you not realize that you're going to get some evidence sometimes by a preseason game or a practice or a game or whatever, and sometimes you're not. And just because you don't get any evidence doesn't mean that the player is not good. Just because you get evidence doesn't necessarily mean the player is good. Like, let's say somebody has a great game that shouldn't. Like, is Davis going to be a monster in Cleveland because he caught 2 touchdowns from Shadur? We're not suggesting that all evidence points to, a trajectory that we're yelling and screaming about. But when something good happens, when we're expecting it and we're trying to tell everybody that Hendy's the man, and he goes and shows the speed. And again, it's not about the touchdown. Like you said, it's not about any of the actual stats. It's about what did you see? I saw a guy that looked like he was on fast forward and everybody else was not on fast forward. Like you did some sort of AI switcheroo where you took Hendy, put him on fast forward, cut him out, and then put him on the normal canvas of the play and played at normal speed. That's what you see. And if you don't see that, then you don't see anything, and that's fine. That's whatever. We're not here to convince the people that have no idea what's going on. That would take too long. Isaac Tesla, 2 catches for 18 yards and a touchdown. Very, very dangerous player in best ball. There's a lot of mouths to feed, so this is not necessarily a non-best ball, smaller league grab. He's Dynasty grab and stash. He's taxi squad. He's best ball pick round 18, round 17. If you need a spike wide receiver that can get you those spike weeks, Tesla looks pretty good. He really catches everything thrown to him. It's just a matter of he's only going to have 4, 5, 6 games this year where he's getting massive volume and target share because there's not room for it unless opportunities open, injuries happen, or he just has a random spike game, which he's, as I said, one of the most capable 17, 18 round players, Tesla, in best ball, to have those 2 or 3 150-yard games as a rookie, like in a touchdown. Have nothing, 150 in a touch, and then nothing, 110 in a touch, let's say. Maybe not 3 150s, but you know what I'm saying. He'll get like a 150 and 2 touchdown game as a rookie and then do nothing for 4 weeks. That's best ball gold in round 17 and 18, and Tesla is a fantastic player to add. All right, BBQ, real quickly, what else you got?
I think the biggest takeaway for me watching this Browns game, I know everybody wants to talk about the touchdowns and everything with Shadur, and he looks really good. I think the biggest takeaway for me is you look at his teammates. They're like rooting for him. The linemen, they're all like huddled around him. They're all like patting him on the back. When he comes to the bench, he looks like he's in command of the offense.
Yeah.
And it looks like the team is basically surrounded him.
They trust him.
He looks like the starter. It doesn't look like anybody else other than the starter.
But what's so discerning about it is like the way that and again, this could be pecking order of things, like Harvey, just because Harvey's listed here or there. But when you hear beat writers saying that they still are more impressed with Gabriel, they might only keep one. And I'm not saying they're cutting him, especially after today. This is the Browns. But to even have that floating around, to even have beat writers really absorbing that, multiple beat writers, the vibe truly is that they've been more impressed with Gabriel. It's such a disappointing organization. They really don't know what they're doing. And so, you'd think that they're going to be strong-armed into this direction. Part of me was hoping he'd get cut and go somewhere else, but he's doing so good. And he's going to prove everybody wrong. Maybe this is the guy that can turn the franchise around. Maybe there's only so much bad around him that can do any damage, and the team can rally. It's still a really good team. You've got really good receivers. You've got good defense. This is a pretty good squad. It's run in Mickey Mouse fashion. And the fact that they even, they doubled up on running back and quarterback, and you could say that, whoa, what a smart move to get Shadur. But is it really smart, or are they just scared? Did they draft 2 running backs because they didn't know? Did they draft Shadur late because they felt pressured and they passed on him and took Gabriel, which was not a smart move? I know people think, oh, yeah, but they got him later. It's not smart because it puts him in a position. That's such late draft capital anyway. When you start talking about the 4th and 5th round, the order of a 4th or a 5th rounder doesn't make you, oh, yeah, we got him cheaper or we got leverage. You're only putting yourself in the situation that the Browns are in right now, where Shadur's outplaying the guy you drafted ahead of him because you're a moron, and now you're pressured to look at this other kid a little longer and miss what he's doing. This guy's the best quarterback on the Browns roster by a country mile. He's a top 15 future NFL quarterback, and the hatred for him is so rampant and so misguided, it's nauseating. Anything else, BBQ? You can stay on the line. Just want to make sure.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is, in watching the Patriots, and you got to understand, like, I'm a Steelers fan, but I'm a fan of football. Like, I'm objective, and I look at the Patriots and the Browns. I'm supposed to dislike both teams. I like what the Patriots are doing. Drake Maye looks so comfortable in the pocket.
Yeah,
he looks just comfortable out there, and I think it's great for the league, but I think it's great for the Patriots and the Patriots fans. And for fantasy, it's going to be just gold, because I think this kid last year was running for his life, and now he seems just calm, cool, collected.
Caller, call back. I guess I waited too long and I hung up. Caller, call back, and I'll get you on right now. What are the odds that you remember Tom Brady's rookie photo compared to now? And people are like, the difference, like, he looks almost younger now in some ways than his old photo. Drake Maye's gonna take that same trajectory. This guy's gonna be sculpted. He's gonna be some super fit, super different looking player as New England changes his fortune. I'm really excited for New England fans. I don't know that this team, like Travis said, is doing consistent damage this year, but he's for sure gonna show everybody what is in store for the Patriots in 2026 and beyond. And if they do not play like the best team in the league, their draft picks will be better. They'll build in the offseason. And more importantly, if Kyle Williams doesn't become a gem, let's say he doesn't. Let's say he becomes Jalen Polk or Javon Baker, who were guys we liked, but they didn't end up doing anything. And part of it might be that they just didn't use them right. But if they don't get what we think they can get, and it's not guaranteed out of Kyle Williams, this is going to be a very attractive landing spot for free agent wide receivers or trade wide receivers via trade. And we already know they're very aggressively interested in trading for a receiver. So there could be an opening opportunity. This offseason might be, dare I predict that the Patriots wide receiver acquisition or draft selection, but maybe acquisition or free agent signing or trade, will be one of the biggest hyped up storylines of the offseason. Like, who's going to be the number one for Drake Maye? If Kyle Williams doesn't prove it, which he could, we'll have to see how that plays out. He's still got don't want to put the cart too far ahead of the horse. Let me merge Bruce in here real quickly. Hold on, boys. Bruce, you're live. What can I do for you, Brucey? This is about where Bruce asked me some sort of, do I reinvent the wheel question? Like, Smitty, do we now take Hendy in the first round? Go ahead, Bruce. Give me your reinvent the wheel question that you always
Nah. I ain't going to try to reinvent the wheel. Well, maybe, but
you let me decide that.
I am kind of scared that he might make it into the third round with Hampton. Are you with this performance?
It's a good topic. We've kind of touched on it briefly, but didn't really hammer home the topic. But I guess the question, to ask, and then we can go around the phone line. Let me start off with Travis. Travis, even keel. Travis, where do you think the ADP climbs for him? I think in best ball, because it's so wide receiver heavy, we'll see a little less movement, but we'll see movement for sure. Hendy goes from round 5 to 4, I think, initially. I don't know if he keeps climbing. In non-best ball, where people are a lot more fickle and they're a lot more, what's the best word to use? Not exposed to consistent, ADP. Because when you draft on best ball over and over, and you do hundreds and sometimes thousands of drafts, you're almost like conform, and you're almost put in like high pressure, peer pressure environments to not think too crazy outside the ADP because you're reaching and all that. But when you draft in, let's say, 2 leagues, and you're drafting with, I'm trying to picture, like in my home league, I have the the banker. I always have 2 or 3 officers in my league, and I can picture right now, it's my officer buddy that literally stands up, and he doesn't know ADP. It's not even a bad thing. He stands up and takes Hendy at the bottom of 2. He's like, my second round pick is Henderson, and then you're like, no, what are you supposed to go like a round and a half later? Like in your non-best ball leagues, it's not going to shock me if he's cemented into some people's third, that aren't doing ADP type exercises. They just won't. They're just going to pick who they think is going to be a superstar. So I don't know. It's hard to say where the non-best ball ADP is going to be at. This is a big performance, but it's also a preseason game. It's a big performance, but it's also a kick return. Some people are not that astute or in the know of what the stats were, or how things played out. Some people don't even get into football until about the second or third week in the preseason or right before. Hard to say. But in best ball, he's most certainly climbing out of 5 and now into 4, I would guess. Go ahead, Bruce, and then I'll circle around the line again.
No. I was waiting to see what their all responses were. Like, when you moved Hendy with this big performance, would you move him up to like a Hampton level?
I mean,
I was just waiting to see what.
Yeah, I do. I mean, in my mind. Now ADP, I'm always going to take advantage of ADP. I'm always going to try and rock the ADP, but in the buddy league, like I said, I'm going to have to anticipate that there are people that are going to be like, I'm pulling the trigger in the late second round, and you're going to be like, bro. So you have to just kind of know what you're dealing with. I mean, the truth of the matter is, if you were to reach, beyond reason, where is he going to end up finishing? And I want people to take advantage of ADPs. But do I think he's going to be a top 5 to 10 running back? Yes. I mean, he's going to earn anything. He's going to earn any value where you take him. Unless you take Hendy in the first round, which you're not going to do, he's going to earn you whatever you end up. But the thing is, how much bang for the buck are you going to get if you take him at the higher end? So if you go and start reaching for Hendy in round 2 when he would have fallen to late 3 and you could have got him there, that's your own fault. Like, you punted an opportunity to have a top 5 to 10 running back in late round 3 or top of round 4 because you were afraid that someone was going to maybe think like you and take him in 2, and now you punted away that value. So that's why ADP is still very vital and important. Not that you should draft like a robot, not that you should just auto draft your team, not that ADP should really even truly be how you draft a player. It's all about manipulating the ADP data to get the best bang for your buck at every single round. Be clear-headed and say, okay, I do think Hendy's top 10, but I'm not taking him here in the second round because I should get him 95% chance I'm getting him around 3. And then when I get to round 3, I got to make the calculation. Is it now getting into the 20 or 30% chance that I'm going to get him around 4? Then maybe I do reach. But if you're still sitting there going, yeah, 9 out of 10 chance he's still going to be there, but I'm going to take him now, you're not drafting smart. You're just not.
I actually do have one question on one of my buddy leagues. Remember I told you I traded my first round pick for his second and his third, so now I have 2 2s and 2 3s. What if I went into that draft, and this is just a hypothetical, and I made Hampton and Hendy my 1-2 running backs, my first 2 running backs?
I don't mind that at all.
Okay.
These are 2 top 10 running backs.
Okay.
And let's not get too crazy and say in suggesting that Hampton isn't still as good as Hendy. Hampton's very much as valuable as Hendy. And losing an offensive lineman is bad. They move Alt over to left tackle. They're now gonna have some pretty decent depth step up. It's not like they had nobody. It's a good system. It's coached very well, and in many cases, while people will overreact on the Hampton offensive line situation, keep in mind they're still better than a lot of these offensive lines that some of the players that you're considering drafting now instead of Hampton. Like, you got to really step back. This is like the Mahomes stuff. Like Rashee Rice, if it ends up being 6 games, let's say, or even 5, or even 4, but 6 games, the overreaction on Mahomes is going to be glory because he's already priced too low. He's already priced as if Rice was out for the year. But for whatever reason, no matter where a player's sitting, there's always going to be a reaction from that spot. There's no account for, he's actually a good value already. This Rice news for 6 games shouldn't even move him. Let's not move him. That's not the way the market works. The market reacts to it. And the market's always going to move in a negative direction with negative news, no matter if it's priced wrongly. So Mahomes goes later now. If this 4 to 6 game thing sticks, he goes later. Mahomes drops in ADP, even though he should not. Hampton has already, if Slater didn't get injured and miss the season, Hampton would have climbed to mid 2. Some people would have reached the top of 2. He would have climbed to mid 2, late 2. He was a second rounder. He was a locked-in second rounder. Slater goes down. Instead of going maybe top of 4, mid 3rd, he did climb to 2 for a second, but he didn't get knocked back down to ground 0, mid 3rd, top of 4. He got knocked down probably to top of 3. So still more steps forward than steps backward for Hampton, sum total, but there's definitely a good reaction, I think, by the market to help us still feel really good about top of round 3 Hampton. And Hendy, who the hell knows, man? Would I be shocked if he climbed to the bottom of 3? No. Would I be shocked if a lot of people wanted to draft Hendy right now over Hampton? Not shocked at all, and they're not even wrong. I mean, you got to remember, while I draft Hampton earlier, it's because I can, and I can get both of them if I follow the process. Do I like Hendy more than Hampton overall in a vacuum? Yes, I have the whole offseason. You know, Hendy and Harvey are my running back too from the draft class. Hampton, I love him so much, I'm just drafting him more. And even when we do rankings and people are like, looks like Hampton moved to your 2 finally, Smitty. He's been at my 2 because he lives there. You have to rank him there. You have to draft him there. But in a vacuum, in quiet secrecy, if you could get more value by trading Hampton into Hendy and something, now you might not be able to do that. But in the past, you could. I'm pulling that trigger every time because I quietly like Hendy better. I've always liked Hendy, and Harvey is the number 2. And Hampton's just, a fantastic player. I still love Hampton. Hampton, there's a reason they're all here. There's a reason they're HHH.
Call HHH.
So we love all of them.
Triple H and Associates. Locations on Earth.
Every single one of them. They're all our children. Damn anybody for making me even choose. All right, Bruce. Anything else, bro?
No.
All right, you can mute yourself if you want, or hang up, whatever you choose. There was another caller that called earlier, and then he hung up. Let me go back over to BBQ, and then over to Travis.
You had a couple super chats too.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to grab those super chats. Cool.
Yeah. This one, speaking redraft 12-man PPR. What are the earliest rounds you're drafting Hunter, Hendy, Harvey? This is probably going to be what everybody asks for the next 24, 48 hours. I'm not mad about it either. We're going to have to, go through this together. So the earliest rounds you draft Hunter, Hendy, and Harvey. So the question is earliest, not where do I want them, but I'm going to kind of go over all of it, I think. Let's see if I can, let me put all these in one. This is the best picks in every round. Let's just take a look at this real quickly and see what's changed. Not much has changed, but I believe that Brown climbed to 2. So that's significant. He's now in 2. He's just locked into 2. Bucky, London, Achan, they're all... Achan's kind of borderline 1-2, but it depends on the format. Hampton's now in 3. That means that Kyron is in 3 alone. Oh, but is he? No. Hendy might climb the bottom 3. Hunter's alone in 5 now. Rashi Rice probably falls to 4. Actually, a lot has changed. I've been moving it around. So, and this isn't me changing my desire to draft a player. It's me changing where they go. So the best pick in every round video got thrown for a loop. And now maybe you have to redo this bad boy. Harvey dropped. Mahomes is dropped. He might drop further. Debo is still doubted. Igbuka's climbing fast. I would venture to say Igbuka's getting closer to that 6th-round territory. Laporta and Nix are still in 7. Ingram and Kelsey are still in 8. These are the best picks of every round, essentially, is what this video was. Hampton's probably now in 3, top of 3, so he joins. So now Kyron's not alone. You got Hendy on this borderline 3-4, but probably bottom of 3 territory. Yeah, this looks pretty good. This looks about what it should be. These are the best picks in every single round. As for the question of where we're drafting Hendy, Harvey, Hampton, I would say the earliest I'm drafting Hendy because I can, not because I don't feel he's a top mother freaking 5 to 10 running back this year, which I believe he is. But I'm drafting him in 3. I think you just, until we see evidence that he's climbing in 2, it's ridiculous to try and blow the opportunity that is getting this 5 to 10 running back in round 3. the latest I'm drafting him, I'm not going to go there because you know that I would take him anywhere in 4, I'd take him anywhere in 5. So we'll put him there. As far as Hampton, I think I'm taking Hampton at the 2-3 turn if I don't like the way the draft looks for me. And in principle, you could just put him at the 3-1 because if you have the 2-3 turn, you have both picks. So just call it 3.1. Hendy, highest I'm taking him is 3. Hampton, I'm trying the highest to take him would be 3.1. I'm trying, at least. Hunter, the highest I would take Travis Hunter. Actually, let's put Harvey on here. The highest I would take Harvey because I can get away with this. There's no sense in ever even imagining or visualizing you taking him any higher than the middle of 5, and you're probably getting him almost guaranteed at the top of 6 or mid 6 in almost any format. But the highest I would take him would be 5. And Travis Hunter, the highest I would take him would be low 4 in a best ball draft. In a non-best ball draft, I wouldn't even dare take him at 4 because you don't need to. Nobody's respecting this guy as much as they should. And so in the end, sum total on average, I would say 5.1 is the highest I would take Hunter because I can, not because if push comes to shove, all these guys I would take much higher than their ADPs. Thank you for that super chat. Great question. At 12 man, what are the earliest rounds? Okay, so I answered that one. I think I got all the, you asked me about all those players. Thank you, Jesse. And handed with the final super chat, then I'll go back to BBQ. Dynasty traded James Cook and Ray Davis for Tre Henderson and Hawkinson. I think, honestly, you're probably going to get a call from the veto police at some point. Let me see if I have that button somewhere. Because there's just no way that should have went down. Here we go. Let me...
King 25, code 428. Dispatch veto Popo. Popo's been dispatched. King 25 out.
Yeah, his name is handed. He'll probably be here for the next hour. A lot of people, they watch the show, the whole show. Yeah, they don't bail after 10 minutes. No, this is the fantasy football show. Oh, you watch it. Okay. Yeah, his name's handed. He should be here for the next, hour. Come get this man for highway robbery. Bro, smash that trade. You truly did. And I love Ray Davis, just so you know. But Hawkinson to boot, you could have traded James Cook and Ray Davis for Tre Henderson alone, and we would have still called the veto Popo on you. Yeah, I think I'm caught up on supers. Let me go over to BBQ. BBQ, what else you got? Then over to Travis.
Yeah, the thing I would say is, if you have one of these players moving up, Handy's going to move up, other guys are going to have great plays in preseason, they're going to move up, and that just means value's going to move down, and you got to be prepared to see players that you might not be able to get a chance at in a round, might be moving down for you. So there's going to be momentum both ways, and then hopefully in your leagues, if you're weak.
Yeah, you just got to take advantage of the momentum.
You watch preseason. So
yeah,
you might have an opportunity to grab that value. Either way, Hendy in the 3rd round is unbelievable value. You get him at 4, it's stealing. 5, it's you should put on a hoodie mask. There's just so much value in this draft this year.
Yeah.
And you've identified it, in the offseason. It's just amazing what you've done here.
Well, it's crazy because when I went over to this board, let me take these guys off the screen here. Let me see if I can throw them in try not to, I like that we can reference what we're talking about here, so I don't want to delete them. Let me just get rid of them here. Okay. But going back to the best picks in every round, when I first looked at them, not much has changed. Everything's changed. Genty probably is now round 2, so I didn't even move him down. Look at round 2. Part of me wonders if maybe I might have to do a draft pick trading video, because you take a look at round 2 and 3 right here. If you could get 5 or 6, if you could get 6 picks in rounds 2 and 3, if you get the number 1 overall pick, you get a 2nd and a 3rd. Don't even give anything back. 10th rounder, 12th rounder if you have to, but you get a 2nd and a 3rd. You don't do some sort of even Steven. I'll give you my 1st rounder and my 4th, and you give me your 2nd and 3rd. No, you give someone the 1st overall pick and you get their 2nd and 3rd, 2 for 1. And you don't give them shit back. So it's the 2nd and the 3rd. Then you trade potentially your fourth and your fifth for another third. You know, you might even be able to give up your sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth for another third. But imagine drafting a handful of these bad boys. Imagine getting 2 picks in round 3, 3 or 4 picks in round, 2 picks in round 2, 3 or 4 picks in round 3. I mean, this is just such a great round. Genty, Achane, London, Bucky, Chase Brown, Kyron, Hampton, Hendy. The second and third round are where I think championships live. It's insane. You know, and this goes for auction people. So if anybody wants auction advice, my best auction advice I could give anybody is you're targeting these guys that are values in the second, third, and fourth round. You're not spending money on Bijan, even though you want to. Bijan is not a guy you want to go spend $80 on, and unless you're going to do the two-headed monster, which honestly I don't think you need to. I think you're buying cheaper players. Now HM might cost a lot. Genty might still maybe cost a lot, but I bet you people they're feeling the pressure of not making him the second or third highest paid running back right now in an auction draft. So I bet you do get him cheaper. Chase Brown's climbing, but you get yourself Kyron, Hampton, Hendy, Chase Brown, Bucky, London, Rashee Rice, Travis Hunter, Mahomes, Bo Nix. That's how you build an auction. You don't buy players up here. You buy them in the values in this range, and then you can fit more of them on your team given the amount of money you get. That's how you win an auction draft. Travis, what else you got?
Spot on, Smitty, on auction stuff.
Thank you,
yeah,
BDQ.
100% spot on.
On Hendy, I was just going to say, if you live in New England, you're going to have to take him in the second round or be happy with not getting them, because that's just how it goes with, you know, like hometown teams, hometown leagues. People always overdraft, but I think you're right for like third round. And I mean, depending on if people don't pay attention, he could still float around the fourth. I think he ends up in the third, and obviously if he keeps doing what he's doing, he may even push towards your second round. But like you said, you still draft Hampton over him at that ADP. In terms of just heads up, though, like I think you said it too. I had Hendy right there with Hampton, if not ahead of him, just ranking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, vacuum. Yeah.
Before the draft. So when we're talking in terms of talent, but when you look at Hampton with his size, the line, you know, the system he's in, you kind of have to still give Hampton the nod. I think to a point, but
I mean, in terms of drafting, but in terms of like in a vacuum,
right?
Yeah, right. I truly think that. I mean, it would not shock me if Hendy was the best running back in the entire draft class. I'm not saying Genty doesn't come out, but he's just such a dynamic player, especially if you're talking like NFL player, because he's such a weapon. He's a better weapon than even Genty for his team, because the pass protection, he could be the number one in the league for that. His receiving capabilities, he could be the Alvin Kamara 80 reception player every single year. And because of his ability, look what he just did on a kickoff return. He is a weapon. He's probably a top 5 running back weapon in the league within the first month of football. And so, you know, he could easily be the best rookie in the class. He easily could be. And that makes you say to yourself, and this is not a knock on Genty, and I'm not trying to pile on anything in that direction. This is all about Hendy. And if you did have an opportunity to trade out a Hampton or Genty or anybody to get Hendy plus some, which I don't know if you can do that tonight. You might need to wait till tomorrow, see if the dust settles. Maybe he has a bad, you know, I don't know how much he'd play in the second preseason game, or what are the odds? How much do you think they'd play, if any, in the second preseason game, Travis? What's that looking like for you guys, for the Patriots? Every team's a little different.
I don't know what they're going to do, because like it used to be that you know, the starters would play little and nothing, but that was when Brady was there. But I think they want to get the young guys out there and get them comfortable. But
okay,
I mean,
so let's say
if you ask me, I mean, I might do the same thing. If I was doing it, I'd do the same thing next game with Hendy, and then I'd probably just scale him back.
So let's say
you know what you're getting with him.
Let's say Hendy gets 2 carries for 12 yards, and everyone's like, which is still good yards per carry. But let's say he gets 2 carries for 8 yards, and everyone's like, oh, it's gonna deflate the balloon a little bit. And then now all of a sudden you could, if you wanted to trade out of a bigger name player to get into Hendy and something, you might have an opening. And it also depends. I mean, the thing about it is in a redraft setting, some of your redraft league mates will have no idea that this game ever happened. You know, in a dynasty setting, most people that are playing dynasty year round, they're in the know. And so they're going to see this and they're going to be so excited about their Hendy value. Nothing next week is going to deflate it. So there's not a lot of opportunity in dynasty to buy Hendy now. You're going to have to pay through the roof. He just probably doubled in value in a dynasty format where people are watching and paying attention. Even if it's oblivious thinking to be like, double? That's just the way it happens. That no one's getting rid of them. They're so excited about what they saw tonight. You've got to triple, quadruple pay, or you're not going to get them because the person's going, I don't know what I have here. It's like finding a Jordan rookie card, and you're not sure if it's real. You found it in the attic. You know, your Aunt Edna passed away, and you're going through her attic, and you found a Jordan rookie card. You're not sure if it's a print. You're not sure what it is, and someone walked in the room and said, I'll give you $500 for it right now. And you're like, no. What if it's fake? I'll give you $5,000 right now for it, and I'll test and see if it's real. You're probably saying no. You're probably going, no. Like, someone's gonna have to come with the thunder to get Hendy. If you drafted Hendy, you like Hendy. You're not trading him. You're not trading him after tonight, and you're certainly watching if you're in a dynasty league because you're absorbing all year long. So it's redraft is really where we don't know what's up. Dynasty, we know what's up. I mean, if you're doing a dynasty startup, I don't know. I could see Hendy going in round 2. Easily. I could see him going mid 2. I could see him going ahead of Hampton in a dynasty startup right now. But in a redraft setting, I don't know what kind of grandmas you all are drafting with. I don't know what platform it is. Your suggested ADP rank's going to have more influence than their knowledge. That's how bad some non-best ball, work leagues might be. And that's not a knock on, you don't play in competitive leagues. We all have those leagues. We all have those guys in our even competitive league that don't pay attention. That's not a knock. Think of it like you're just being prepared. I don't know. I would say 4th round, guaranteed 4th round is what I think for Hendy now. Guaranteed. Can he go into 3? Yeah. He should. Do I think he will? I don't know. We'll have to play it out. The next couple of days, we'll kind of feel it out and see. Also might be one of those types of things where we see a wide range and we never know where he's going. He's going in 3 in some leagues and 4 in others. Like Mahomes. Mahomes will go in 5 in a non-best ball, and he'll go in the 8th round sometimes in underdog. Like, there's really no way to know. Mahomes is just all over the map. He has probably the most diverse, widespread ADP I've ever seen. So maybe he's got like a round and a half to a 2-round ADP spread. Kind of hard to say. And yeah, big profit. You make a very good point, which will be the next live stream. I almost guarantee you. As soon as Harvey has a 40-yard run. Harvey's one of the most mother freaking explosive running backs in the National Football League today. Understand the words coming out of my mouth. Harvey is one of the most explosive runners in the league today. In the moment, and Big Profit makes a real good point, what we're seeing with Hendy's about to happen with Harvey. So get your boots on, tuck your shirt in, and make sure you come prepared. As Junior Soprano said, next time you come heavy. There's no way you should be expecting anything different than what just happened to Hendy to happen to Harvey's value. Because when he gets the ball, he's going to blast through the offensive line. He's going to blast through the defensive line. He's going to get to that second level and shift right into third gear from 4th and just absolutely tear. You're just going to watch this guy tear through people. He's going to manhandle cornerbacks or defensive backs that get in his way. Harvey is so dangerous. I can't wait for those Harvey doubters to be like, well, I'm out of here. Check, please. I better not hang around this community anymore. Check, please. Maggie, can we get the check? Can't wait, all you Harvey doubters. JD5, thank you. Tyler says the Smitty call on JD5 as early as he did over Caleb was awesome analysis before anyone. Bro, and I appreciate that, but honestly, you're going to start, patting the back. Why? How about the Knicks, the Maye, the Penix Jr. all over Caleb? Because that's where the real magic was last year for the offseason content is JD5 over Caleb. That, baby could see that. But we had Caleb as the 5 or 6 quarterback in this draft class. Honestly, I'd take Milroe over, as I've said all offseason. How's that looking now? How's that looking now, Caleb believers? When I said I'd take Milroe over Caleb, I'd take Maye, Penix, McCarthy, obviously JD5, and all of the quarterbacks. Bo Nix, Penix Jr., obviously. But I'm not even done there. I'd rather have Milroe over Caleb. And I think everybody last night might have saw the doubts that might have said, well, shit. Maybe Milroe is better than Caleb because he looked fantastic last night. And you know who looked fantastic last night? Our moon man. Torrey Horton.
Dropping loads in outer space.
And he didn't even catch his touchdown from Milroe. Wait till that happens. I think I got 2 more super chats. Go ahead, Travis, while I get these super chats ready.
Just real quick, because someone put it in the chat. We put to rest that Hendy is the guy, but Ramondre will still have a role. And he's the number 1 running back.
Can we put to rest?
Ramondre will still have a role.
Yes, we can put it.
We just put that to rest and stop that. So people can stop asking.
Yeah.
It's okay if people don't know or don't pay attention or whatever, but I get that question almost every night in the chat from different people. Are we sure that Hendy's the guy? And Ramondre, it won't take him a few weeks to get up to speed, blah, blah, blah. He's up to speed.
I think
we saw it.
I think it's safe to say that Ramondre is a great cuff. He looks pretty fluid tonight. But yeah, it's like
he lost weight this offseason.
Yeah, there's if anybody's even, how do I put this delicately? If anybody's even questioning whether Hendy's the starter or not, then they're just so far behind. Like, I don't even know how to catch that person up. Ramondre is like Monty. You need him there to take about 150 plus totes. Like, Ramondre is going to carry the ball 150 plus times, and that has zero impact. It's expected. If the Patriots run the ball, how many times did you run the ball last year, Travis? Do you happen to know that? I can ask Kruger. I can ask Kruger real quick. Maybe confirm if Kruger's right. Let's see if Kruger knows the answer to this. He hasn't been that useful lately. And I can't even pull him up right now. He's off like line here. Come on, Kruger. Pay attention, Kruger. Here we go. We'll see if he's right. Travis can look at it. Kruger, how many rushing attempts did the New England Patriots have last year as a team in 2024?
So last year in 2024, the Patriots had a total of 446 rushing attempts for the entire season.
And how many of those were Drake Maye?
Drake Maye actually had 54 of those rushing attempts himself in the 2024 season.
Okay. So 54 were Drake Maye, and they didn't have a good running attack. I would venture to say that they're going to run the ball 480 to 500 times this year, especially given that they're trying to keep things, honest and try and make this passing attack work. And some of these might be behind Drake Maye passes to Hendy, and he takes it, 40 yards, and that's counted as a run, by the way. So yeah, I would say so. If you consider that you're running the ball 472 times is a number we often use for a high volume rushing attack. 472, take away 60 from Drake Maye, let's just say. I mean, he's going to run for more than that. Let's just say it's a 400 for the running backs. 400 for the running backs. I can't imagine wanting to run Hendy given he's going to catch 4 to 5 to 6 balls a game and get 900, 800, 700 yards receiving on the year, 80 plus receptions for Hendy this year. You heard me correct. He had 3 receptions in this game alone. He had 1 carry for 18 yards. He's going to catch 80 balls. He's catching 80 footballs as a rookie. Kamara caught 81 as a rookie. I think you're talking about wanting 200 carries for Hendy probably at the most. So 200 carries.
Yeah, I was going to say like 200 to 220 at the very, very most.
Yeah. So that leaves you 200 extra carries. Like how could anybody be confused about this math? Well, is Ramondre going to be in the way? Ramondre needs to be carrying the ball 150 plus times. I don't think people understand that. He has to. No one else. There's no one else. He's got to do it. If he doesn't do it, someone else will. It's nothing to do with Tre Henderson. Absolutely zero to do with him.
Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
Antonio Gibson had 120 carries last year.
And by the way, does anybody know who the number 1 rusher in the yards per carry was in FBS last year? Does anybody know? This man. 7.1. Genty was 7.0. And people say things like, oh, he's not a between the tackle runner. This guy ran the ball 144 times for 1,016 yards on the ground. And he was the number 1 running back in the nation in 7.1 yards per carry, ahead of Genty at 7.0. And the most important stat, probably, period, is that 0 fumbles. This guy has never fumbled in his college career. Not one time. He takes care of the ball. There's going to be a day where he fumbles it, and he's going to be so hard on himself. I could just see it on the sideline now. He's literally going to just beat himself into the ground and never do it again. This guy's going to go crazy. 80 receptions, Henderson. He could be the number 1 rookie in the entire draft class. It truly could. At the end of it all, Travis, you made that Barkley trade earlier. And I know a lot of people didn't like it. It was similar to when I made my Christian McCaffrey for Achane and DK Metcalf trade last year. Coming off of the Christian McCaffrey explosion fest where he was amazing. And I traded McCaffrey for Achane and DK. And even my own chat was like indifferent on it. That looks like the most genius trade ever made right now. Not even DK doesn't even matter. Like Achane and DK for CMC, I crushed that trade. Travis made a trade in the offseason on the live show. We talked about it. And the chat wasn't all that excited about it, to be honest. And Travis, what was the trade?
A lot of people said I got ripped off.
Yeah, what was the trade at the end of the day? You had to overpay. He had no quarterback.
So I traded Barkley, Devontae Smith, Aaron Jones, and I gave up a 26 first rounder, which is the overpay. And I got back Penix, needed a quarterback, Tre Henderson, Ramondre, and Mooney.
So what's so funny is this trade was, and it was, I remember even telling you, it was overpay fair market value wise, but I think I told you that I think it could.
I admittedly overpaid.
That it would work out for you. Yeah. It will work out for you. A calendar year from that moment, I said you'd have the better side. Fair market value could have got more. Bruce hung up. Bruce, we'll see you later, bro. He had no quarterback. It's a 1 QB. Like, this trade's looking more and more.
I give Aaron Jones too.
Yeah.
For clarity.
Well, it's so funny how things will look though. Like that, Hendy looks so good right now. He's a top 5 running back. He's a top 5 running back. Let me read this one here. 10-team PPR redraft. Pick the first round as if you owned all 10 teams. 10-team PPR. Pick the first round as if you owned all 10 teams. I can't do a mock draft off the $5 super chat, man. I mean, that would take me an hour and a half because I'd be breaking down I would say as if I owned all 10 teams. I mean, I don't know, bro.
I guess he just means the first round.
Yeah, but
just the top 10 picks.
Even that's.
But still.
Yeah, still, that's a lot to add. I would just say this. I would say if I'm drafting in the top of round 1, bro, it's Genty, Gibbs if I need RBs and I'm running back hungry. If not, I'm taking Chase or Lamb. And that covers you probably for the first 4 or 5 draft slots. Then if you're drafting from 6 to 8, I'm taking Lamb if I get so lucky. I'm taking Genty still. If I can get away with Genty later, I will. BTJ's kind of intriguing in this, 8 to 10 or 9 to 10 range. Achane and Genty together would be amazing at this turn. And, Genty at 10 is still fine. Achane, Genty, Bucky, Achane. You want to go Bucky, Achane? If you don't want to go Genty, I'm not going to sit here and talk you into taking Genty at 10 when you can still get Bucky and Achane, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that back-to-back at 10. But if you get that middle range pick, it's Lamb, it's Bijan, it's Gibbs, and it's Bijan, Chase, Lamb, and Gibbs at the top. That's the best way I can describe it. I can't really do a whole mock draft there and consider all 10 teams. It's like, thank you for the super chat, Timothy. I hope that helped. Are you drafting Neighbors in 1 at his ADP, even with the risk of him sitting if they suck? I've made this point abundantly clear, and I don't mind going over it because not everybody watches every show, so I get that. And who do you take in the first, second, and third rounds? JSN, Garrett Wilson, MHJ. Again, vague. I can't break down 3 rounds of stuff without knowing the board. It'd be reckless for me to be like, take this guy in the three. But I mean, this board should really help you. This board pretty much tells you what I'm thinking in general, right? And do I take Neighbors? You don't see him here. I love Neighbors, and just for clarification, Neighbors is I have up there from the offseason, the wide receiver 1, like talent-wise. I think he's probably Jamar Chase. Him and Jamar Chase are on even wavelengths. They're the same player. Jamar Chase, Neighbors, Jamar Chase in Dynasty, they're equal. They're my number 1 wide receiver. But in redraft, now if you're in Dynasty, I kind of take the risk, right? Because it's long term. But in redraft, it is tough. I still take him near the end of the first round in some settings, but I would not oversaturate it because it doesn't matter how good he is. It doesn't matter if he's the best player in the league for 8 straight weeks. Someone could walk into this live stream after 6 weeks of being the number 1 wide receiver and go, Smitty, I bet you feel stupid right now. First of all, I don't, because I did draft him, and I still suggest you take some shares of Neighbors, even in the first round. So I'm not saying to avoid him. I'm not. But don't oversaturate it. If you got 2 or 3 leagues, make sure it's just one of them. And make sure you're open-minded to trading him high if you're fearing that the foot's getting worse. He needs surgery, and it's not something that will get better. It'll only get progressively worse as the season moves along. He's able to rest it and rehab it in the offseason to get it back to ground zero. But each time you do that, you're going to quickly and more quickly each time it's going to get to that pain point quicker. And then later in the year, he's going to feel differently than he feels right now, where he feels near 100%. It's just there, and it's not hampering him, but he feels it. It's going to get worse every week. He's on a management plan for it. And if they have 4 or 5 wins and it's week 13, they're going to shut him down and have a surgery early. So it sucks. I'm not passing on him. I'm not telling you he's a bust. But would I take Genty over him in some scenarios? Absolutely. Would I take Achane or BTJ or a receiver, especially Lamb, of course? Would I take JJ? JJ's another one. JJ in Neighbors, I still want to have some shares, but literally like 1 out of 5 leagues. That means if I have 5 leagues back to back to back, only one of those leagues am I going to risk having Neighbors or JJ on the team just because of the injury risk. Let me go to this phone caller who just called in real quick. Actually, I got 2 callers on the line. 704, you're live, and then 253, just remain muted real quick. I'll be right with you. 704, what can I do for you? You're live.
What's up, Smitty? How you doing?
What's up? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
First thing, Chris, calling from North Carolina.
What's up, man?
First thing, I want to celebrate getting Henderson in the 5.9 just now.
Boy, attaboy.
But another thing was I was gonna tell you my team if that was okay.
Briefly.
I literally just finished.
Yeah, just give me the starters. If you Jonathan Brooks, I'm gonna lose it.
CD fell to the 1.9, and
right.
then I took London at the 2. Okay. And then I was able to get McBride and then Triple H and Associates. So I feel pretty good about that.
10-man or 12?
10-man.
So CD, McBride, and then you went...
well, CD, London, and then McBride.
Yeah, CD, London, McBride, and then you went Hampton?
I went Triple H back to back to back, and then my league is pretty scared, so I got Rashee Rice at the 7.9.
Woo! I love hearing that, man. That gets
that was a good one.
That gets me amped up about Miss Smitty's league.
Pretty much to wrap it up, I mean, I got Ingram, Bo Nix, and Egbuka after that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Total grandma league. So you walk into the bank today, or wait? You gonna wait?
Yeah.
You're
gonna
buy
definitely today.
You put that TV on layaway because the guarantee of that money coming in. All right, my boy. Anything else?
Yes, sir.
Hendy to the moon.
Nah, that's all, please.
All right, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good job. Good job. All right, next caller. What's your name? 253, and where are you calling from?
Smitty, it's Mondo. I'm calling from Tacoma, Washington.
What's up, my man?
What's up, brother? Hey, so I'm wondering, I got a 12-team PPR. I'm pick 7 right now. Thinking about swapping out for 11. Do you think I can get better value if I move back in the draft to the 11th spot?
Rock out day 16, 13,000 steps. Good job. I think are you gonna get Lamb at that 7 pick?
I was hoping for Genty.
Well, you might get Genty at 11 now. I mean, maybe not.
Very true.
Maybe not. I mean, all it takes is one person to be like, I'm not listening to the preseason. Like one logical person, and he's gone. I guess I just think, okay, who are you getting with this corresponding second round pick with your number 7? Who do you anticipate?
Well,
Bucky's going to be there, because Bucky's going to be there. I'd probably just keep the 7, and you're not waiting that long for picks. So I love that your third rounders pulled up. You know what I mean? So I think I'd probably keep 7, bro. It's a good spot to be in. You probably get Bucky or London or Achan with the second rounder. I would guess.
So you don't think I should go back-to-back RB?
I'm fine with that. You could go Bijan or Gibbs fell or something stupid like that at 7. For sure I'd take back-to-back RB. If you went Genty, I mean, if Lamb's there, I'm taking Lamb. If Genty's there, I'm taking Lamb's in my top 4. Genty's my number 5. My number 5 or my number 6. Okay. So I'm taking Lamb if he's there. If he's not there, I'd go Genty. I'd also be willing to trade down to get Bucky or Achan instead of Genty there if it got me something more. I mean,
I'm thinking if I can get Genty or Lamb in the first at 7, then I would maybe be able to start going with the Triple H and Associates.
Yeah, you could. I wouldn't
grab one of them in the second round.
You could, but be careful. 7, that's a pretty high second round pick. I mean, Hampton there's not crazy, but that's early considering now that his value might have dropped back down to the 3rd, bro. I think you got to be a little bit careful not to make Hampton too high of a pick. I mean, if you think Bucky or Achan would fall to in this league, is it 12 or 10?
It's 12. I got some sharks, man. This is 6 years in with most of the same guys.
So
about 8 of the 12
who are
owners.
The top 5 players likely to be there in your second round pick?
Man, that's a tough one to say. I don't know, but I'm just confused whether I should drop back to 11 for the value.
No, because
or stay at 7.
I think because your third rounder goes down, everything's all. It's not bad, but give me Lamb. If you can get Lamb, I want Lamb all day in that 7th overall pick. But I don't know.
At 7.
You think he'll be there though? If they're Sharks, it probably won't be.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either because, like I said, it is some Sharks. Guys do their homework.
I don't know. What do you guys think on the phone line? BBQ and Travis, you like 7 or 11 better?
I like 7.
I like this.
I like 7. I just stick with a higher.
I like it spaced out, bro. It's just spaced out. You get back on the clock quicker. You don't have to wait forever. And honestly, if let's say worst came to worst and you end up having Genty here, which a lot of people still think is crazy, I do not. I mean, do you think Bucky is a shot at being there in the second round or no?
That's going to be tough. I'm thinking maybe I could probably grab Tyron.
See, you mentioned, you mentioned a lot of guys that sometimes fall though, so you have to be really careful. But what about London? London going to be there?
He could, yeah, he could. Second round.
I like London. Kyron's not bad, but I'm really trying to get that in round 3 if possible. If not, then I'm okay with it. If you ended up going 11, let's just see. So London, Genty, or Genty, maybe Bucky. What about if you went? Do you think you're getting Achane at 11?
That's possible. That's possible. Yeah. Because I think guys will go with Bucky before in this league. I think I could see some guys going with Bucky or.
If you don't think you
maybe
got
Kyron,
it,
I don't know.
If you don't think it sounds like you want 11, bro. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. You want 11, go get 11. It's you can tell you want it. I can tell you want it. And to be honest with you, I put Achane and Bucky on the screen, and I'm fine with that, bro.
I just want to have as many of your guys that you think are going to be, Saturn men.
Well, I think Achane and Bucky. If you think you could get that 11 and 14, I'm doing it live. I'm fine with that, and that's what you want. I don't want to talk you out of doing what you want to do. You really want this 11 pick, I can tell. So do it and smash it. Achane, Bucky, I love it. And then when you get to that 3.11 pick, so we're at this is 1.11 and 2.2. So Bucky at 2.2, Achane at 1.11, and then at 3.11, maybe Hendy's there. Or I'm sorry, Hampton's there.
Right.
Hampton.
How soon do you think? Last week, Smitty, how soon do you think it would be to go grab Hunter? Because it sounds like you're pretty damn high on him, and I am too. So, how soon do you think would be too soon to grab him?
I think you're contemplating taking him in 4, and I'm going to tell you you're again early. You're trying to force everybody too early, bro. I can tell you're an early shooter, bro. you're popping off a little too soon. We need to contact HHH and Associates, see if they have a remedy for that. Maybe there's a pill you could take. But you're getting a little excited. I think Hunter should be there in 5 for you. So if you were to go, let's say Achane, Bucky, I mean you can't go all 4 running backs, but these 4 running backs you should be able to, hit some of these. Let's say in 3.1, who could he get at 3.1? Marv, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, those. I got those guys on my list too.
Can you start 4 running backs?
So we said it's two running backs, 2 wide receivers, and then 2 flex.
2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. Only 2 wide receivers. Okay, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and a.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got 2 flex spots, so you could either start a wide receiver or a running back.
So you technically could go all 4 of these RBs, and you start all of them, and then 2 wide receivers, bro. You get Hunter and. I mean, you could get Hunter and Rashi Rice and Agbuka or something like that, and Debo. You probably get 3 of those guys. You could do it if you wanted, but I definitely think MHJ would be fantastic here. MHJ, Bucky, Achane, Hendy. I like that, and then Hunter. Just make sure you wait till round 5 for Hunter. Yeah. He should fall. All right, bro. Got to go later.
All right. Appreciate you, brother. Peace.
Yeah, later. All right, let me close the phone line down. I gotta get out of here anyway. Here's the super chat. Are you drafting neighbors? And I already did that one. Thank you, Brett, for that question. BBQ, final thoughts, my boy. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, just to follow up with what he was saying, I'm in a lot of competitive leagues, and I find 7 around there is, and I don't want to talk him out of it, but 7's good just because you're picking 7, 18, 31, 42. And I love that spot because things will just fall right into place for you.
Yeah.
So, it's all preference. But for me, I've won at 7 so many times. just because it lines up really well. And the first 2 picks are like fine. It's really 3 and 4 where you can get that value and you're not waiting and sitting there like waiting. It's like you can grab the player you want at 31, come right back at 42, and then
I like it. He sounded like he wanted to go that direction, but I'm with BBQ. I'd rather draft at 7. But I do like the idea of A-Chain and Bucky. That does sound good. But I'm drafting at 7. By the way, Shadur finished with just what a night, And again, Shadur started off. It was like a good run, but then he ended a 4th down and loss of downs, turnover on downs, and everybody was ripping on him on X. There's tweets everywhere people going crazy. They were like, oh, he's awful. Oh my God, this is who you got. And then all of a sudden, Shadur, you can then blame it on the preseason, whatever you want. But the people that were just trashing him for the preseason are now saying, oh, it's just a preseason game. Shadur is 14 of 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns passing, poised, recovered from what was a disastrous drive at the end of it all by turning the ball over. He ran the ball 4 times for 19 yards. He's got to work on his, throwing the ball away, which he did tonight when he was trying to scramble around. But just what a performance! Way to step up, Shadur. Shadur, excited for him. All the haters are probably so mad.
Mashed potatoes!
They're punching the air right now. All right, BBQ. Anything else?
No, man. Great show, great content.
All right, man.
Community with great questions, man. Just another solid show.
Appreciate you, bro. Later.
Later.
All right, Travis. Final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as pumped for Shadur as I am the Hendy stuff, just because, I didn't expect Hendy to run back a 100-yard touchdown, but I expected him to look good. And Shadur, I wanted to see him get in there and show something. So I'm pretty pumped about that. And people seem to just discount, how smart of a football player he is. He's an accurate passer. And like those 2 things, and his arm is plenty strong enough, contrary to belief. But having those 2 things, like Tom Brady always talked about, his superpower wasn't physical, it was his ability to process. And Shador's pretty good at that. He knows the game, and he's accurate. So you put those 2 things together, he's going to be ahead of most young quarterbacks. And so, everyone who just gave him the help in the beginning, kind of have to shut up for the time being. See what he continues to do, but unless the Browns be the Browns, he's not getting cut like everyone said.
All right, my man. We'll see you tonight. I'll be back at midnight Eastern.
Yep. Later.
Later.
Thanks, Smitty. Bye.
Later. Congrats on your Patriots. It's got to feel good when you're. I mean, we don't feel that bad for Travis. He's had decades of Tom Brady. But they have felt pretty bad lately, and I know it's hard for Patriot fans. We are back, baby. I'm a big fan of Caleb Williams. But you might want to spell it right. And I think his ADP has massive value. I know he played 8 games in 10-man boxes. I think no QB. I think you mean Caleb Johnson. think you spelled Caleb right, but you spelled Johnson wrong. You spelled it Williams. He's good. Caleb Williams is decent. But he's in a bad spot in my opinion. But trust your gut. If you like him, bro, don't let anybody talk you out of it. Look at all the, standing on ground I'm doing with the guys I like. So, stand your ground with your guys. I think he's pretty good, but I just don't know that no problem. Appreciate the super chat. I just don't love his situation. He's been struggling a little bit in pass protection and Jaylen Warren's such a good receiving back. And if he can't stay healthy, then I think you've got an opportunity for sure. But it will require an injury. But that's not that tall of an order because, Warren's not exactly been Mr. Reliable, on the course of a season and staying healthy and proving he can take the workload. But if they give him half the work, he might stay healthy. And he's just a strong, underrated kid, Jaylen Warren. So, and it's a vanilla offense kind of, and I don't like Arthur Smith. I think Arthur Smith is trash, but he can run the ball at times, and then at times he, ends up running the wrong players and using the wrong guys and just spreading it around and using a committee. And so, even if he's had success running, even though his mind, it can be good for running the ball only, not coaching. I don't know. I'm just not a big Caleb Johnson guy, but I appreciate you, my boy. And thank you for the super chat, and trust your gut and don't let me even sway you if you like him. Thank you. Appreciate that. 784 for the super chat. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Rockout. Thank you, Timothy. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Handed. Jesse, appreciate you. Panthers. Dog, appreciate you. Billy and Panthers, thank you all for dropping those super chats. Thank you for the phone callers. We'll be back tonight at midnight Eastern. Don't forget, I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. I'm also additionally live whenever big news breaks, and I go live almost every single midnight Eastern, which is 9 p.m. Pacific, and we'll be live tonight drafting on Underdog. Use the link that's in the live chat right now. I'm going to drop this link right this very second. I'm going to pin the link, and you're going to want to click on this link and sign up so that you don't miss out on the drafts tonight. It's only a $10 minimum. The link, again, is pinned in the live chat. It's in the description of every video. So if you want to find the link later, you can just go to the description of any video, and my link is right there, Underdog. But Code Smitty gets it done as well. We'll be drafting tonight. Sign up now. It takes 2 minutes, $10 minimum. They'll match your first deposit 50%. Sign up now with that link. I just pinned it. Code Smitty. And that way you can draft with us tonight. So don't miss out. I'd hate to have you scrambling for it later. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Hendy season's in full effect. If you missed the show, this hour and 36-minute show, make sure you rewatch the beginning at least, if not the whole damn thing, because we celebrate Hendy and we celebrate it live. We talk about how Harvey's going to do the same damn thing, and all these people running away from Harvey are going to be licking their wounds later. Hunter, Genty, imagine hating Genty. It's disappointing in some respects that people that watch this channel, even like 5%, it's just a low percent, they're just loud, but that low number of 5 out of every 100 people that are watching that say Genty's, Genty, it's disappointing because they watch this show and you think that they wouldn't be.
In a jam, call HHH and Associates.
Triple H and Associates, locations on Earth and Jupiter.
See you all tonight at midnight Eastern. Deuce.